For you, you've had your integrity, you've kept your integrity, you've kept your authenticity, and you just maybe were lucky, maybe not lucky that in the time that you've been working, there's been a real thirst for truth, authenticity among a growing segment of the population. Whereas before you might have been a complete outcast, now I think you're finding some success and some, demand for your views, for your work, because it's so untrue in the corporate media, and people sense the falsity of it all. They know that you're gonna give them your honest take, and there's some value in that. I think that we're all lucky to have you, but we're lucky to have this ecosystem too that's developed even in the last 4 years, where you're not such an outsider anymore.
No,
You're
no.
just different.
I got really lucky that Russiagate happened at a time when I was trying to find my own voice. I just left Democracy Now! And Democracy Now! Was a great place to work, but it was also I felt stuck there. I wanted to develop my own journalistic voice, and I knew I couldn't do it there. So I had to move on. And right after I moved on, Russiagate came along, where everybody bought into what I think was one of the dumbest conspiracy theories of all time. Everybody, meaning my media colleagues. And I didn't. And so I was lucky in that respect that helped set me apart. And that gave me a certain voice that I didn't have before. And that's how a lot of people.
And those media colleagues, the ones who are repeating the silly, conspiracy theories, can you name? I mean, maybe you can because you're in the business. I can't name one of them. If I asked for a mainstream journalism of your age cohort, they're completely forgettable, completely interchangeable. Maybe they went for the career, but I don't think they have any currency. They don't have any value. They're completely replaceable by another person who's going to read the script. And I think they made the wrong choice, and you made a right choice. But it must have been a brave choice to make.
Listen, at the time, it was a choice. I remember thinking, if I come out against this now, this is a path I'm taking. There's no going back from this. It seems so silly now. It seems like, and I don't want to sort of over dramatize, because really it's just a very trivial story in the long run. But at the time, this was the biggest thing, and challenging this was so difficult. And I was up for a job at MSNBC at the time. Not that I would have gotten it anyway, but I remember thinking, like, if I come out against this, that's it. Like, I'm not going back, and I might have to leave journalism as a result. I definitely had to think about that, because this was such a powerful narrative at the time. And it just, because it was among liberals, this was the reason why Trump won, and this, Russia was being blamed for everything. I just knew that if I went against this, some people would never welcome me back into their fold. And so that was a choice I made. But I remember thinking, this story is so dumb, so baseless, and actually so dangerous, that if I'm not going to challenge this, then why be in journalism? If I'm going to censor myself over something so transparently dumb, if I can't challenge this, then what's the point of calling myself a journalist? And so that is the choice that I made there. And I was lucky that it paid off. I was rewarded for my independence there. I was.